All right, good morning, good evening, good night. Another week in Web3. Thank you for joining us on NFT Live on the Web3 Network. We're going to have a good time, man. I had a packed July. I am frankly just beat up, and I'm ready to just be here with y'all for like the next couple months. I don't have anything on the calendar but sitting here with Gifted and talking NFTs and Web3 with y'all. Excited to start another week. Also, guys, if you don't know, Bank of America threw their employees into the metaverse. That's it. That's all. That's all the info that we're going to tell you about that. You're up to your own devices about what that means. But Gifted, what's up, dude? What's going on?
What else do you need to know other than that? What else is
fair.
there? Isn't it clear what's going on?
It's fair. Very clear.
Doesn't it tell you? Doesn't that tell you everything you need to know about the future of finance, the state of our banking industry, the state of the metaverse, which everybody understands what that means. We all know and live in the metaverse. So
my mind
should all be very clear.
My mind just immediately jumps into like they dropped him into Decentraland and said you can't leave, and there's just people chilling there. Hey, I don't know if Prodigy's joining us here this morning, but I finally hung up the art.
That's amazing. And now you got the Manny Lynx is your backdrop sitting on the floor.
It's sitting there. It's I got to figure out what to do with this. Also, the Manny Lynx, like I feel like the owl's looking at people, and people will be like kind of. I don't know if that's the best spot for it, but at least I did something. Jesus.
Yeah. No, I'm proud of you, bro. I've got art that's been sitting on my floor since I moved in here like a year and a half ago. So it's a big move. Bold.
Blessed. Super bold.
Big bold move.
Marty McFly. The last time I heard from Marty McFly, he was deuces in the air saying, "I'll see you when I see you." And welcome back. Welcome back. Good to see you, my friend. This Threadguy Opepen stuff is max cringe, even more than BAYC. I agree with that.
Why is it so cringe? Why do you feel that way, Marty? And why do you agree with him, Nifty Q? What's so cringe about it?
The fact that I couldn't escape it. Like usually if there's something happening in NFT Twitter, I can kind of like go to my little corner, follow some other people. Everyone was retweeting it or tweeting it, or Threadguy was just on another one. I don't know. I just could not escape it for the life of me. So that's kind of why I thought it was cringe.
Why do you want to escape it? What's going on? I don't understand. Yeah, what's the I don't understand what is the angst? Why is everybody against this?
I would like to just be able to experience NFT Twitter without everyone just like posting about Threadguy. What's the problem here? I'm not an Opepen holder, so maybe that's where it comes in too. Maybe I got a little cope that I got to deal with. Anyways, Left Action House, Nox Darkness, Squash Man, like we said, Marty, good to have you back, sir, in Web3 for the long haul now. Smash the like. We're getting started here. I got my buddy married over the weekend, so I touched some grass, and I wasn't. That is part of the reason I wasn't a part of Opepen. But yeah, we're gonna get to a lot of different pieces of news.
I just got a few of them while we were live on GM Web3. Everybody's talking about it, sharing the links. I got 5 of them.
I'm gonna start Gifted. So Gifted's
I don't know
nickname
why
in this is your humble Web3 Sherpa. I'm gonna start calling him Live Mint though. What's up, Live Mint? Your nickname is now Gifted Live Mint. I don't know what order I want to put that in, but he's Mr. Live Mint. If you ever knew him. Hey, real quick, I do want to touch on that, like your experience there with Zora. I know you were saying you were doing it like for the first time, so I kind of want to get something involved there. But before I left this weekend to attend a wedding, so shout out to Dan for getting married to his lovely wife Kate. I was able to sit down with Starlordy, and this release was on, I believe, Thursday. So this is still fresh. I don't know for how much longer, but it's still fresh right now, talking about how OniForce is going to be the next blue chip. I believe it. And it was a great time. Again, the Spotify does not allow us to show you video, but it is video and audio. I just dropped it there in chat. You can find the Twitter profile Wild Web Pod, and I'm sitting down with some great people. So Starlordy being one of them.
That video is also on the YouTube, so check that out. Over 100 people watched that already, and it's a great interview. I have to say, I was enjoying watching it. Starlordy got to us from his car. He's a busy guy. He's moving. He's a mover and a shaker, but you were able to nail him down for this one-on-one interview.
Pause.
Which, yeah. Pause. Great job nailing Starlordy down in his car, nonetheless. You're really taking it.
You guys happy you're here? Are you happy you're here with me and Gifted?
Dude, this is what I'm not gonna lie. This has been one of those days. Like, it was a slow start today. It feels like a slow Monday, slow news day. Yeah, when Threadguy Threadition, Opepen Threadition is like the headline of the day. That's a bear market for you, but it is what it is. We're still out here doing what we do. And if you could do what you do and smash the like, we would appreciate it so much. Really makes a big difference. And also, as NiftyQ is alluding to down below in that lower third scrolling graphic, just always please remember that nothing we talk about here should be misconstrued as financial advice, because we're not financial advisors. I know it's hard to believe when you look at us.
True.
I know it's hard to believe that we're not financial advisors up here, but this isn't financial advice. Information was found publicly on the interwebs. Opinions shared on this episode are solely of the Web3 team, and all information is public domain. Please always DYOR, do your own research, fam. Got to do it.
All right. As Gifted was alluding to, the Threadguy is like blowing up NFT Twitter. There wasn't that much news, I guess you could say. Like, we had a really jam-packed last couple weeks with the heavy metal release, as well as a couple other big pieces coming through from some other projects. XRP news was yesterday or last week as well. So we had a bunch of that going on. Not as much like macro news. CPI numbers, I believe, were good, so that's kind of bullish long term. But these are a couple of the topics that we're going to touch on today. So it is Comic-Con week. That is some big energy for a lot of these new projects, and some established projects are there too. I mean, Cool Cats, Oni Force, I believe Pudgy Penguins. There are a bunch of projects there at Comic-Con. BAGCHECK announced that they were there. Beeple obviously is a part of that Opepen piece. Pudgy's also kind of getting in the mix there, launching a couple different pieces that we can touch on. Also, I wanted to bring up Cool Cats. Why is Cool Cats up like 40% on the day? Can anyone tell me?
On the day? Man, they started to pump last week.
What happened with Cool Cats? Someone explain to me why Cool Cats is all of a sudden. Is this just like throwing darts at a dartboard, just eyes closed, Cool Cats today?
Narrative changing, narrative shifting. People starting to feel like it's undervalued. I don't know. If there's any specific catalyst, let us know in the comments. DP saying, I've been out of the loop. What's going on with Threadguy? Yeah, great question. We're going to talk about it, though, on this episode. We'll get into it. Also, though, you did bring up Starlordy, the interview on Wild Wild Web. You brought up Oniforce, and you didn't talk about the floor price being in your buying range, Q. Interesting that you neglected to discuss that fact.
Is it expected, though, at this point? Like, you have to assume it at this point. Listen, I've got some USDC just burning a hole in my pocket. Burning a hole in my MetaMask wallet. I mean, yeah, you can't. You can't just like want to like have stable currency and try to have an awesome life outside of this circus. No. You got to immediately spend it, because this is the shitcoin casino that we live in. Yeah, you're not wrong. Oni Force, I believe, got down to like 0.9, 0.92, I think, in that range, and I said an ETH. So I will be making a pretty rash decision to not have any life savings, but have it all in pictures that I hope will eventually get me to prosperity. You really can't leave this place. Hey, speaking of Starlordy, I did actually find I did find.
Bro, this whole NFT space is Hotel California.
True.
You once you get here, you're
check
never
out.
fucking leaving. You can never fucking check out. You're stuck, man.
You know, Starlordy is in OniForce is a great example of like why I'm here though. Like it's a good product. It's a good CEO or a good face of the franchise, as we call it here on NFT Live. Just really great stuff coming from them. So yeah, big shout outs. Let's listen to a clip from that interview. But the whole thing was gold.
Sometimes I'll pull up a collection and I'll just stare at the collection and look at all the traits, because it's almost like you can see the soul of the intention behind it. Because like as a founder or a operator myself, like I can look at something and know like, okay, what type of conversations was this team probably having for this trait to appear? You know what I mean? And it's like, and the way I realized this is I was looking at OniForce's collection. I was just literally sometimes I'll just scroll through and look at the art. And then one day it hit me. I was like, wait a second. If we want to make an anime, every single trait needs to make sense logically in this world. Like in this world, why is there like 500 people with a Kitsune mask, 500 people with like a Tengu mask? Like, are they a clan? Like, how do they choose the mask? Does the mask choose them? Like, does it like represent their personality? Like you need like logic behind it. You know what I mean? Storytelling.
What do you think about that GIF? Have you got a chance to watch it?
Yeah, I watched on YouTube.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's an awesome convo, like I was saying. You thought I was just gassing you up without having no idea what I'm talking about? What percentage of the things that I talk about on here, Q, do you think I'm just bullshitting on?
It's a coin flip for me.
Wow. Cool. Smash the like for this guy. No, it's great. I mean, look, it makes me sit back and think about my experience as a founder / operator and the actual work that goes into developing a project. Because there's to create a really, all these types of things that's actually creative and original, not totally derivative of other things, is a ton of work. And now what they're doing is they're actually trying to, sort of retroactively, in a way, build out the lore in ways that weren't ever necessarily predicted when these traits were developed, right? So the team put a ton of effort into creating really interesting original art, all these unique traits, without necessarily having the foresight or, the future vision of understanding what the anime might look like for all these traits, right? So it's a very interesting creative challenge and process to now, I don't want to say force, well, it's only force, but like to make sure that as you move forward and expand out this world and build out the IP, that it's all authentic to the original art, to the original collection, the intention of that it all makes sense in this world. This is not an easy thing to do. And it just makes me excited to see the amount of thought and effort that is going into it, right? It makes me more bullish. It makes me feel like whatever they're going to do is going to be very high quality and be authentic to the original collection. And that's really exciting. Again, like I'm so fucking bullish on Oni. Like I talk about them every chance I get. Like, I don't know. It's fucking obvious. I feel like people listening to this part right now are probably rolling their eyes like, oh God, we're talking about Oni again. So to you, I say, shut your damn mouth. No, I'm just kidding. To you, I say, like, just bear with us for a moment. But the thing is, there's only 7,777 of these original pieces of art. They have not even diluted the collection yet. And they're building out all of this lore based upon those original 7,000, NFTs. And they're putting a lot of time and effort into it. And the people that they've hired to do this are literally the same people that created like Wolverine's origin story. It's like some of the best comic book writers and comic book creators in the world are creating the OniForce lore. And they're literally looking at the original 7,000 trait like characters. Yeah. And they're like, how do we build this world? It's fucking cool, man. It's really exciting.
Okay, I know a lot of people are waiting for the Threadguy conversation and wondering what's happening there. But I do want to stay in this topic because it's a really fascinating one of like also looking at these at what type of value can be created in the future. Someone came into the GM Web3 morning show this morning and was talking about BAYC and like whether the amount of value that you're going to receive from holding a BAYC is going to be beyond what you've already gotten. And to be fair, it might be sacrilegious, string me up on my thumbs. I think most of the value that apes will get, they've already gotten. And so you look at a project like Oniforce that's sitting sub 1 ETH, that hasn't diluted their collection, that hasn't done a lot of the things that BAYC has already kind of, showed their cards on. That's probably why we're so bullish. And for a ton of different reasons. Like the storytelling alone, like that was half of my convo with Starlordy. It had nothing to do with floor price. It really didn't. But also, if you're looking at this from, hey, future value, you're sitting sub 1 ETH, no other collection. What can they do with this? And where can you find yourself as a holder?
Potential upside seems like it could be very high. It's just a cool project with cool people behind it.
Yeah, 100%. We got some Comic-Con news that I definitely want to like hone in on. I know we briefly mentioned it, but last piece of housekeeping here. Gifted, NFTGO, and I'm reading it from your perspective. So I'm Gifted now. NFTGO and I have a bet going. He said there's no way the SEC is going to approve Blackrock BTC ETF. I said it's going to happen. Winner gets a Bitcoin NFT. What do you think? So we do have this ongoing piece here. And I don't know if there was any updates. I think there was like a successful, not approval, but like a acceptance that this might be approved. Very bureaucratic terminology there. But again...
You're trying to pad your votes, but the 80-20 rule holds, and it's not in your favor, NFTGO. Right now, people feeling like the Illuminati will do what Illuminati does. That was the whole thing. People were like, "Why do you feel it? What does Illuminati mean, dude?" To me, it's just a catch-all phrase for the people pulling the strings behind the scenes. That's what I like. When I say Illuminati, it's like who are the big money managers, asset managers that are actually controlling the world? Aladdin, BlackRock, that's what I think. And I think that they run our government. I think that they are the keys. They are the major shareholders in all of the big conglomerates that run our country. That's it.
Every time you say Aladdin, and if they assume like Aladdin from the Disney universe is just like controlling the universe.
Yeah, and my whole thing is like if they want crypto, they're gonna get crypto, right? And so they're either gonna do it through the US or they're gonna do it somewhere else. And that's the threat. That's the pressure that the SEC is under right now.
Okay, so back to this ONI piece real quick, because we're sitting at 0.92 ETH, and we're wondering, why do we get this massive drop? Especially over the last 14 days. It's gone from like 1.6 to like, again, 0.9. That question came up, and really, like, there's different features. No one really has the main answer. But again, the people that are buying and selling this, and it being a flippers market, I think is the main reason that you see this price chart, right? Like that, again, doesn't look great. It doesn't look that much different from a lot of different projects in the space right now. Like a lot of things are down 30%. People selling into ETH potentially. But the Wizards of Soho came up as well. That major profile on Twitter, who also manages a pretty medium-sized fund. I'm guessing, like, obviously millions of dollars. But whether that was good for Oniforce, whether that's him selling, I have no idea. I would need to like check these wallets out. But about a month ago, he started accumulating like hundreds of Onis. And I sent you a DM and said, is this good for Oniforce? Is it good for NFT projects to have these large whales buying up a shit ton of the collection? And I think what we got to in the morning show was that, and shout out to Artsnitch for coming and dropping some info on us, was that Soho has a relationship with the team. And so he's effectively almost acting like a market maker here, which I think is extremely positive and a great relationship to build out if you want to have a successful project at the end of the day. So, you know, the why is this happening? Nobody fucking knows. It's just the market, and I think people are, you know, thinking more short term, and then we're kind of looking at this in a long term perspective, saying Oni's going to be a major player come next bull run.
Everything in NFTs is short minded, like flipping. That's it, man. It's just the market is trash. NFT market is absolute trash right now. And I think part of it too, like everybody's seeing that there can be altcoin season coming back, or like a run in ETH and Bitcoin. I think a lot of people are trying to just move liquidity, which is already very, very, very tight, to other places right now, out of JPEGs. That's it. It's fucking tough.
All right, I really don't have much on this Cool Cats news. So Cool Cats is up for whatever reason, 40% on the day. Apparently this is not even, is this today? Don't forget to join the journey before 3 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. This was on July 16th. So that is today. I don't know if this has anything to do with it. Tread carefully. There's not much info. Journeys, Cool Cats, NFTs. And here's where I get all of my NFTs taken. What is happening here? So that's 58 hours. Staking closes. I think I jumped into the chasm of complexity here immediately.
Yeah, but that's cool. Cool Cats has continued to build and roll out things and ship. You know, that's the thing.
Yeah,
that's why they've stayed in the conversation, and they were like an original blue chip. You know, that kind of similar to Oniforce. You know, if they can turn things around and do some cool stuff, there's probably a lot of potential upside. So I don't know, maybe people are starting to just get more bullish in general.
All right, a lot of great comments coming through here. We more like Jafar's in control like that. Thank you, Squash, for joining me on that pun. DP saying, why wouldn't they approve it? People must not know much about BlackRock, which is pretty much a branch off from Blackstone. Listen, I don't plan to know like the entire, you know, like books of BlackRock. I know they have a shit ton on the books there. I know how much, at least to some general degree, how much they control when it comes to like assets under management. There's just been a lot of ETF denials. I mean, since 2017, there has to have been like more than 20, 30 ETF denials, if not more. So that's basically what I'm going at. So it could definitely get 100% approved. Like, it's just a kind of fun bet that we're taking, as well as my experience seeing a lot of these ETFs be denied. If you see any other comments, definitely hit them.
Well, I can't highlight them for some reason, the way I'm like signed out now. But Chuckletoots saying, how we all doing? Shout out to you, Chuckletoots. We're here. We're living life, bro. Great to see you. GM to you. Left Action House. I don't know what you got against Cool Cats and Oni here. But Jesus,
seems like two projects that like people shouldn't hate, right?
Left Action House, unless you bought at the top, unless you bought at the top of both of them. Left Action House was also saying that we're missing the PFP movement on Wax. Lots coming out. You ETH heads might not understand it, but it's happening. Loads of fun, and it's cheap or expensive if you want.
Okay. First of all. Okay. This channel was covering GPK in 2020, I believe, the releases of GPKs on Wax. So give us a little bit of rope on the Wax criticism here with that. I can look at CryptoSlam here and see if there's any activity happening. Again, like this is just cross-chain data, right? Or just like analytics across multiple blockchains. Wax, so it looks like the activity is not that high, right? 61,000 for the day over the last 24 hours. But we can give it a look. You know, if there's something cool on Wax, I'm down to give it a look. Gif, you know we interviewed the Sandlot guys on this network. Do you remember that? You know Sandlot the movie? Do you remember that episode?
No.
Okay. All right. That was
it was OG.
That's an OG episode. Yeah, fun times.
Yeah. They were at Comic-Con LA as like headliners
Oh
when they
yeah.
were there too.
To be
They've
fair,
been making a rounds trying to scratch, great movie though. Love that movie. Definitely a big part of my childhood. And yeah.
all right, some other comments that are coming through we'll touch on. We do have a bunch of Comic-Con pieces as well. A lot of projects are headed to San Diego, beautiful San Diego, this week to celebrate Comic-Con. I think this might be the most Web3 coverage that I've seen at that conference. I really thought it was just going to be Oni and maybe one more, I think we heard, but I feel like we're getting a ton of announcements about different projects at Comic-Con. Maybe I just missed that party announcement with all the different logos.
Yeah. There were 3 big ones that we knew were going to be there in like a meaningful way, and that's Oni, Pudgy, and Cool Cats. Those 3 previously announced that they are like doing booths or some kind of activations there. But yeah, it sounds like there's going to be other people joining the party in different ways. We know BAGCHECK is going to be down there, part of the Oni party, maybe doing some other things themselves. They've also been, rebranding, which I think is interesting. Might be a good time to have someone from the BAGCHECK team come back on, talk about all the things that they're doing because they continue to ship and move.
Yeah, this is my mandatory Choina comment as well. Just an awesome community member in both Web3 as well as BAGCHECK. Just Choina, big shout out. I know you watch these episodes afterwards. All right, let's look at this because this is a great little slot here. This is from Cool Cats. Web3 takes over Comic-Con. Excited to represent with our friends Pudgy Penguins and Oni Force next week. So you get a little graphic here. Again, BAGCHECK is there as well, but you see 3, prominent IPs here in the NFT space at Comic-Con. So that's going to be really cool. Maybe that's what you're seeing. Like Cool Cat's getting a bid because you're expecting some type of announcement here at Comic-Con. That could potentially be what we're seeing.
Yeah, it's just strange that you wouldn't also see the same thing with Oni Force. But yeah, could be right.
Hey, maybe a lot of people think that Oni can suck it. Maybe a lot of people think that.
Maybe. Char asking, do you think we see another NFT bull run when crypto is in a bull? Short answer is yeah, but it's like the timing can be off. NFTs are a lagging indicator as far as I'm concerned. And like what we keep saying is that Bitcoin and ETH have to run. They have to get close to all-time highs. Then a lot of that cycles into altcoins. You see altcoin season pick up. And then, and only then, do you start to see the liquidity move into the most speculative assets, which are NFTs. So I feel good about that take. Like, I don't know, we talk about it a lot. So I think until we see those other sort of shoes drop, I don't really expect NFTs to do that much. But like, will NFTs see another bull run? Yeah. When crypto's doing really well again and there's a lot of liquidity in the market and everybody feels rich and wants to just fucking YOLO into crazy risky investments to try and get an easy 100x. Sure. It's gambling. It's gambling.
Okay, so complex question. I think to answer it very simply, the maturation of what NFTs will look like next year, even just next year, I think will be great. I think you're based on what we saw in 2021, where it was just massive speculation over essentially PFP projects. Like you saw some gaming projects potentially like see some increase. Axie is always brought up, but there were others that also kind of played off the NFT narrative. But it was mainly just insane speculation over PFPs. Whether the PFP speculation comes back is, I think, a fairer question than are NFTs going to see a surge. And NFTs are going to see a great surge. There's going to be gaming projects that are now matured in 2024. You're going to have an opportunity to maybe it won't look like $100,000 asset, but it could potentially look like, a $10 asset that you could sell for 100. We brought up Kagi earlier in the GM Web3 morning show playing the NFL. I keep wanting to call it All Day. That's the Dapper project with the NFL, but it's called something else. We'll bring it up here in a sec. But he's able to again do the sports collectible flips where he's flipping $15 assets for 100. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if we get the same PFP based $100 to $100,000? Maybe we do.
Well, the gaming part is interesting because I think a lot of people see, to the question of like, Squashman bringing up whether or not same projects from today are the ones that get any of the attention or the liquidity when it does eventually return. Well, I think a lot of people expect gaming to be one of the places that really takes off, where you may still see tremendous returns. A lot of the projects of today may or may not return. Most of them won't, but there will be new projects and there will be new innovations that get a lot of the attention. And probably a lot of that is going to be in the gaming space. There's probably going to be some cool games that are actually doing cool things, that are creating value for people that participate and put their time and energy there. And it'll probably be what I think a lot of people are speculating is that it'll be a moment in time, unlike any other moment, where if you get into Web3 gaming and you can kind of like catch the wave when there's a couple of these first games that really take off, that's where you might get the like 1000x. You know what I mean? That's where it could be. And then probably never again, right? Once it kind of like gets out there, reaches, hits a tipping point, mass adoption, hits an equilibrium, then those gains just kind of get equalized, right? Mm-hmm. It becomes much less common to see 100x, 1000x at a certain point. But if you're the early adopters of these new modes, models, games, etc., you can fucking kill it. So yeah. And sports gaming is probably part of that.
Yeah, sports collectibles. NFT art will do extremely well, especially as we move into like VR and augmented reality. The NFT art will do extremely well. It's already, high-end art is already shown even in a bear market to do, sales that are extremely high. So as society moves more towards, hey, I know we have that meme of the metaverse or virtual worlds in 21 and 22, where people are like, oh, this is going to be the next thing, but there were really only 1,000 people in voxels and maybe less in Decentraland. That's going to be something that blows up completely in 24, 25, 20, probably more down the line. But in those environments, you'll have art collection. You'll have potentially PFP collection. Like that's where I think PFPs go. They have utility, yes, but they'll be seen as more collector's items. You throw up a Bored Ape in your house. Hey, I got a Bored Ape. That might be 10 years from now, but that's where I see it going. Heavy metal is something that we put our money into, right? And we saw the speculation like super volatile, but I still think as season 2 comes out, as the game raid comes out, these are things that you can buy in mass at 0.5, 0.4 and see a 2x, 3x, 4x flip. So it might not, again, look like, hey, I'm going to put $100 into this and it's going to turn into 100K, but there's going to be ops.
Yeah. I'm just super bullish on culture in general, right? And like whatever that means to you. But it's like the things that are culturally relevant. This is why look, y'all already know it's not financial advice. This is why I'm still super bullish on Pepe. Like when shit turns around, I think Pepe is going to do big things. I really do. I don't know. I put my money there. Well, where my mouth is on that one, we'll see. But I'm just really interested in culture in general and like where is attention and relevance and awareness, and because all this stuff becomes flexes. You know what I mean? Like people attach meaning to symbols and characters in unique ways. And when you can own a piece of that, like we are in, regardless of the current market, we are still in the digital renaissance. I think that like that narrative has kind of fallen by the wayside as everybody's kind of been disappointed or disenchanted with their bags and like the market just sucking. But understand, we are still in the digital renaissance. This is an era where digital art, digital creativity, coding and poetry, like the new poetry, data, all of these things are combining in transcendent new ways that nobody's ever seen before. And so like owning different pieces of these that stick around, that become especially meaningful, I think just becomes more and more interesting and valuable over time as we move further into the quote unquote capital M metaverse, where our digital identities and our digital lives become more and more valuable. How are you flexing who you are? Again, it's the idea of like pulling up outside of a club in a fucking Benz or a Ferrari. You know what I mean? It's like all of that shifts when we spend more and more of our time and attention in digital worlds and online, which is where it's all going. And so at that point, having a Bored Ape in your digital identity, real estate, whatever that fucking is, and however you display that, I think is tremendous.
Speaking of Bored Apes, we did have a quick announcement. This is not a Yuga Live show. We might touch on heavy metal later. We will get to Threadguy as well, folks, if you guys are still waiting on that. But ApeFest in Hong Kong, do we like that move? Because there were some really cool announcements about Miami. I think there was something recent that Squashman tagged us in on in LA as well. But the real big one, I feel like, was ApeFest moving out of the US. It was in NYC, I believe, the past 2 years. And now it's going to be fully global. Hong Kong. Also, are we going?
I think it's dope. I want to go. I'm not sure at this moment if I can pull it off or not. I know that they've said like hold tight on making arrangements.
Yeah.
It's going to be limited, access. You want to make sure you get a ticket, and I assume they're going to announce some partnerships, with like different hotels and like hospitality groups or something, I think this is fucking dope though. It's expanding overseas. These are like crypto by nature is global. It's a global phenomenon. We should be global. We should be thinking globally. And it seems like an important step. I don't know. That's how it feels like to me. And I'm sure whoever goes is going to have a fucking blast as long as they don't get caught smoking weed.
Yeah, please don't do that. Look, I'll sit down and smoke with the rest of them, but please don't do that in HK. Do not do that in Hong Kong. Like I think it was a meme. Most people were like, "Oh, like asking for a friend." It's like no joke. They will throw you in prison for a long fucking time.
Easy. Shout out Easy and Crypto over here. Also saying, don't talk bad about China on the internet and then go to ApeFest. So don't get caught smoking weed there. Also, maybe don't talk a bunch of shit about the Chinese regime and then go there. That's probably also not a smart move.
Okay, so just for apes and plus ones with tickets. So it looks like a plus one might have to pay for this. So Kennel Club holders, eat your heart out here. It's only for mutants and Bored Apes, which is along the same lines that they've always done. Tickets for IRL entry to ApeFest Hong Kong will be first come, first served, limited capacity, free admission for apes. Ape meet ape. So it looks like they're doing community events, citywide experiences. That would be really cool. Just for the non-initiated at Hong Kong, like having checkpoints you can actually go to, that would be really helpful. Join the fun globally, secure a ticket, yada, yada, yada. All right. So we got some comments coming through, people talking about ApeFest and whether it's a good idea. I think Squash was saying it's a great move to go global. Cannot be U.S.-centric. Huge ape community in Hong Kong. Need to expand if you want to make it a truly global brand. I think that's the best summary of it. For the most part. And again, there still is going to be one in Miami in August, I believe. So a little bit sooner. I need to make sure I have the date on that. I can look that up while we're live, actually.
I think that's the 2-year anniversary of Mutant Apes, right?
Yeah, the fuck it's Saturday.
So I'm repping some Mutant Ape swag here to celebrate the 2-year anniversary incoming here.
I will say Bored Ape knows how to make posters and like a lot of like great like promotional stuff. I don't know about the merch. The merch is a hit or miss, but the promotional like posters are amazing. I've always wanted to like collect all of them. So yeah, big shout out there, I guess. August 26th, 2023.
Yeah, it looks dope. And Wynwood is a awesome spot to party. So are you going to that, Q? Who's going to Miami?
I've had multiple apes be like, are you going to Hong Kong? If not, are you going to Miami? And I'm just, look, big commitment either way. So I'll be letting you guys know soon, I guess. I know who runs the world, dead serious. Okay. Let us know here in the channel. Pepe will pump again in the bull run, but if it were me, I'd take profits and get the hell on somewhere. I would kind of agree with that. The Pepe would. I think that's actually an easier play than, say, even like one of the most notable NFT projects. I think Pepe has the chance because it has that retail appeal.
Yeah. We don't have to go down a Pepe rabbit hole right now.
Man.
Frog hole.
It's a great comment too. Like, I don't want to get caught in like the theory of NFTs either. Like, I feel like we've touched on a lot of that here as well. But DP is saying, man, a flex is only going to go so far. Eventually, real businesses must be built. I don't know why people in Web3 think we can fade the fundamentals of business.
Yes, and there is a collectible cultural value to this stuff too. Like, you know, CryptoPunks is CryptoPunks, but like there's going to be some blue chip NFTs that can retain a lot of value that's independent from utility. Bored Apes has primarily been sort of a utility play to this point.
Yes.
But it does have that collectible nature and the flex value of it as art as well.
It's been a speculative play, dude. Like, honestly, it's for something to run up to 150 ETH. It's just purely degen speculation. Like, I don't know. Even calling it a utility play, I'm like, okay, the utility that you're going to get further assets, I guess that which I guess is a utility, but it's a utility based on speculation, not on like some like fundamental business model.
Yeah. Prodigy made it though. Our vibe, our tribe to you, sir. Happy to see you. And yeah, look at that. Look at that. You can't flame Q anymore for not hanging his art.
One checkbox. You'll find another thing. No worries. All right, we got sidetracked from this Comic-Con discussion. There were other projects again that were attending and going to be featured. You can see this Oni Force Comic-Con after party, and you can see Avagachi, Nifty Kit. Who else is down there? You can't even see that.
A bunch of others that I don't know. Privatize.
So again, Cool Cats is going to be there. I'm interested to see the reaction.
Brian saying the utility is dilution. Oof.
Dude, I'm serious when I say this. I don't know. And then the question that comes after is, then why are you still holding your ape? But I really do think that there's not going to be as much value found from a flipping standpoint as maybe even ape coin, heavy metals. I don't know. Like, how do I see would I see heavies at 2 before I see apes at 90? Probably. No,
I don't know. I don't know about that, man. Supply and demand is very interesting, but the supply of heavies is much higher. You know, the dilution question is interesting because they've kept all of their art like similar quality but different and unique. They didn't do what Azuki Elementals did, where they literally like created a fucking shitty knockoff derivative of their original apes. The mutants are very different and unique. So I don't know, man. Yes, they keep adding more to the ecosystem, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that they're diluting the original 10K apes as much as adding more potential there. So only time will tell. Yeah. And DP saying that is debatable. The immaturity of young retail investors is what fuels a good portion of this industry. Absolutely. Facts. I agree. And yes, most of these are startups that need to find ways to pivot into sustainable business models and will fail or have already. Squashman shouting out Jeff Nicholas, now hired as creative director of BAYC, which is awesome. We love Jeff. We've had him on our shows a couple times. I actually got to bring him on at Comic-Con onto the panel, get to hang out with him and talk to him there. But he says it's bullish having Jeff Nicholas on board now, and saying, I think if he harnesses the holders and uses his connections in music, art, culture, it could be interesting. I agree.
Yeah, part of that Threadguy piece was losing him as a face of BAYC and specifically MAYC. Like that's one of the reasons why people were up in arms, is because he's probably the most notable person with a mutant ape as his PFP. Like you can't really underestimate that. Like I guess you could talk it away, but like that actually is a really big, I think, loss for MAYC to have him be rocking something else. All right, we are gonna get to Threadguy. I freaking promise. I do have one other story before we get to the bag check, and then we get into this Opepen situation. Pudgy's just building, man. Like I really like am starting to like the IP a lot more. I think I had like my initial takes on, and I always forget his fucking name. The guy who is
Luca.
It's not Luca Netz.
Oh, the original.
Yeah, he turned me off completely from the collection. Like I didn't even want it to touch Pudgies with a 10-foot pole, and that was probably not the right way to think about it. Just allowing one person to, kind of sour your take on a collection. But Pudgy just keeps building. Pudgy Swap is actually really cool. To your point, Gift, there was an ability to do this in some type of like liquidity pool situation where you can essentially put in your, for example, Bored Ape, and you could get out another ape and just make that swap. But Pudgy actually went a step further here and created a Pudgy Swap, which is and I think it's, let me make sure I got this here. A flip.xyz, I believe, is the project that they're working with to make this happen. But essentially what you can do here is go into a marketplace, and I'll show you right here. They have it pretty much. You can, look on OpenSea or Blur, and you can find a Pudgy that you like and potentially like have a request here to make an OTC trade. So all you need to do again is add in, connect your wallet, add the wallet address here, the Pudgy appears, and you could just make a simple OTC swap to a better Pudgy. And I that it's not like
I don't fully understand how this works, but like
you basically have they're pointing people towards a marketplace that you can or a tool that allows me to swap with you, GIF. Like if I really like your DBs, for example, and I had another DB, I could be like, I want that DB. Do you want my DB?
I get that. I just feel like the demand for better, rarer, more interesting ones is going to be very high, and the amount of people that are going to want to trade for the less interesting floor ones is going to be very low. So I guess what I don't understand is the market making, like, the supply aspect of this, and how do you actually, like, it's cool to have a tool to do this in the rare occasion that this actually works out, where you got two people that agree, like, yeah, yours is cooler, mine's not as cool, let's trade. I just don't know how often that actually happens, where you've got people wanting to trade theirs for someone's, and that person's like, yeah, totally, I'll take yours that you don't like. Yeah, sure.
So I'll
take my awesome Pudgy for your.
Well, it doesn't have to be an awesome
Pudgy.
You can like have a floor Pudgy, and that's your PFP.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's more utility, and I'm sure some people will do it just to do it. You know, I
would flip my ape now back for my bubblegum ape. Like my ape now is more rare, and I would rather have the bubblegum ape. Like if I could do a swap, I would.
Is that because it has the mark of death?
No, it really does. I mean, very, very small percentage. Most of the percentages, that was my first ape, and I wish I had it back. I mean, I got a great deal on it. Don't get me wrong, but I would love to have a marketplace to like look at other apes and say, or other NFTs and be like, hey, I just want to do a simple swap. So it is.
Well, so Hero Space explaining a little bit more that you can do more complicated trades that aren't one for one. So if you can do like 3 commons for one rare,
yep.
Like, okay, then yeah, this might have more legs than I was giving it credit for. So that's cool. So then yeah, go sweep the floor, get some floor Pudgies, and then maybe you can trade up based on that. Dead Polaroid saying yo.
Safety swap and trade your Pudgy Penguins using Pudgy Swap. Set up the perfect peer-to-peer transaction with multiple assets and ETH across your collections. 0% fees, 0% royalties. Okay, so they're setting up like an OTC piece there. So we'll see how much activity that gets, but it's a nice one. The better story, honestly, is this Nouns DAO proposal, where Pudgy is now going to launch another toy collection that features nouns. and this is put on and
The
passed
Noggles.
in the Nouns DAO. So I don't know how much money they're actually getting. I'm sure if I go to the end of this, let me make sure. What is the proposal asking for? 10 ETH. So 20 Gs to go to this wallet, and it's going to fund. Let me make sure I've got it. We are proposing to create 499 red penguins and 499 blues with matching Nouns glasses. We would retail it for $299 and would have a 10 total penguins within the lot that would feature a pair of gold glasses. The gold glasses figurines will be treated as golden tickets and will be randomly given to 10 lucky purchasers. I like that. We want to add gold plating to these gold glasses to make the value proposition even more special. So look, you could kind of talk this away and be like, look, they're launching toys. It's 20 Gs. It's not like something that's garnering millions and millions of dollars. Or you can look at this story and be like, this is what decentralization and DAOs are all about. You're funding business model proposals for other projects. This is cross projects. Yeah, collaborations.
Go collaborations that have actual business tied to it.
Yes.
It's really cool.
It is really cool. And so there's the TLDR. If y'all have any comments on this, I think it's just, again, it's not going to blow the doors off of anything. This isn't $1 million project, but it's a great example of building and then GIF building off a previous model, right? Because they launched the initial toys for like, I think $299, right? Or $249 a piece, and they were sold out within seconds. So
yeah, so far it'll be interesting to see when and where. Like, is there a ceiling on this, or how far are we from that ceiling? Like, so far they've clearly done a very good job of matching supply to demand and selling these things out very, very quickly. I just wonder, when does it get to a point that they launch something that doesn't sell out? And we might not be anywhere near that. I'm not saying that I hope that they fail at all. What I'm saying is, so far they've had tremendous success. Understanding the state of the market, that NFTs are still a very niche thing. Does there come a time in the not too distant future that they launch one of these projects that just doesn't see a lot of demand? But I think so far they've done a very good job of keeping supply within their expected demand.
So just jumping on that point, part of the proposal was saying that secondary markets are like 2 or 3x, even 5x what people paid for it. So if you want to continue to drop these things, do it in very limited supply, have people win, and they'll buy the next one. And like that, it seems to be a good model going forward. All right, a ton of people have some comments here. Someone I see on ApeFest. Diggs is on Twitch here, so shout out to all the people watching on Twitch as well as Twitter, along with y'all, of course, on YouTube. But yeah, wherever you're watching, listening, we appreciate y'all. Thanks for tuning in.
And Dead Polaroid is saying that he thinks, honestly, the Threadguy downgrading his PFP is kind of funny, and that the mutant is way cooler than whatever that PFP has now. Yeah, hot take. I'm a fan of Jack Butcher, and I think that the Opepens are interesting. I actually like the way that he's rolling out different collaborations and versions of it, the way that he created a format that a lot of people seem to think is fun to riff off of and create derivatives of, I think is very clever. I don't know if it's a cooler PFP than a mutant. And like, how long will he keep this PFP? I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's a fair take. So we're going to get to Threadguy. I want to get into the NFTGO bag check here. Before we do so, let's look at some of these comments. If you see anything that you want to pull up, let's see. Prodigy saying, "Give me more Oni and less animated animals, or dick butts or goblins. Trash." Wow. That's kind of, jeez. I actually am a big fan of non-humanoid PFPs. I think they're way more attainable, or like they're less exclusionary, if that's what we're talking about. Like, I want a PFP that is not representative of a male or a female or what have you. That's why these apes do so well, right? Is that they're gender neutral for the most part. Like, they could be males, they could be females, And I really think that people that do like even skin color on PFPs, I'm like, just do animals. Like they're way just easier to collect.
You know what? Nobody ever confused this man for a speciesist. Okay, he's clearly not a speciesist. He is open to any and all species. Clearly, does not get behind the idea that humans are the end all be all, and you can be any species you want, as far as NFTQ is concerned.
I like the captains was lame for multiple reasons. Not only
Captains
of which they
are
just look like
fucking lame.
people.
Let's
Like,
pull them up. We haven't looked at them. Let's go look
but
at
that's
the.
what I'm saying.
Let's go
Like,
look at the captains.
people want to hop onto the internet and just be the weirdest fucking. I want to be like an octopus with a laser eye. Like I don't why I don't know. I have no idea.
Because you're not a speciesist.
Like
Oh
this
my
is what they
God.
launched.
Oh my God. I don't believe that they took so fucking long to watch this. Oh God.
It just look, there's even like supply issues. Okay, so if you're going with the fact that, I don't want to get into a rant here, but if you are going with like a humanoid PFP, you have things to consider. Like there are only 500 like skin colors here, skin colors there. And so like what happens when all 500 are sold out and people like that are of that skin color want to buy that because it represents them? I just what are you launching another secondary collection because there's only 500 ones that look like white or 500 ones that look black? It's just like
I'm
it makes
so
no sense.
confused. I am so confused by some of these recent big drops.
Yeah.
The elementals thing boggles my mind strategically. Other than just like it was a cash grab. It was just a rushed cash grab. That's the only way it makes sense to me. But the way that they tried to like explain it, like we were trying to open up to new people and create something truly unique. It's like, bruh, like,
yeah,
no, it's like stop fucking lying. Like, no, it makes no sense other than a rushed cash grab.
We need a dub.
The captains does not make any sense to me. They had so much time. They had so much hype.
So I'll give them this. I'll give them this gift because I just had a huge rant. They made the PFP customizable, so I guess you can get over that.
That's their innovation.
Yeah,
that's their innovation.
Still lame. Still lame. People want to hop on the internet and become different. You know, like they go to LinkedIn if you want my like actual photo. We want to like take forms of different. That's why World of Warcraft. I mean, you know, World of Warcraft has different races and all these different things. Like you can be a dwarf, you can be an elf.
It's basically like Bitmoji.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's like, so you think I want an NFT version of myself that I can customize to wear my daily outfit?
Yeah, it's lame.
And that's what you think I want to fucking. Dude, these were like $20,000 floors.
Again, part of it's just speculation. Yeah.
You think I want a $20,000 JPEG that just looks like me in my daily outfit that I can change the outfit on? Like, I don't know, man. I don't understand.
Agreed.
I'm with you though. Like if I'm gonna be rocking a PFP, like I don't want it to just be like a cheesy, like illustrated version of me. Like I want it to be something fucking dope and memorable.
DBs is a great example. It's like
DBs are fucking fire.
Yeah, it's a really good example. I remember Biggie was talking about the metaverse with us. We're on such a deep rabbit hole rant, but I'll just end with the fact that Biggie was talking about how we shouldn't have cars in these virtual worlds. Like, why? Why do we need a car to take us from one place to another? Like when there is no element of physics involved.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn on this one, but like maybe it's more like why not some kind of updated vehicle that's different than just a normal car, right? Like, like dude, show me the dopest new flying or like teleporting cars or something, you know? Like I'm kind of torn on it just because like people fucking love cars, and so it's like I get like I get like why Yeah, if you love cars, you love cars. Like one of the biggest film franchises in the history of all fucking entertainment and film, Fast and Furious.
I don't got friends. I got family. All right, we are getting into the NFTGO back check here, and then they're going to touch on Opepen to end the episode. But before we do that, we'll do this on another episode. But it looks like Play NFL Rivals. Kaggy's been tweeting a bunch of content out from them. It looks like he was able to flip some of these for from like $10 to $20 to about like $100 to $200. And I'll give you a screenshot of what it looks like. It's very much a mini game. So don't get your hopes up that this is going to be like Madden. But it looks like they've crossed 1 million downloads. They're doing pretty well. You can see the gameplay here as well. Again, super mini game-esque, but you're able to, and I believe this is all on-chain assets as well. So this is from Play Mythic, I believe. The Play NFL Rivals. Let me see if I can get to one of his other tweets on the subject because I just saw it come across. All right, so he said he flipped his first card, got it for 40 in a pack, sold for 120. The only way to understand the market is to, yeah. Okay. So we won't bring it up too much on today's episode, but maybe we give this an in-depth look tomorrow or this week because it looks like they found some type of product market fit with this marketplace.
This is the future, man. It's going to be a lot more of these smaller incremental trades for, $50, $100 than the $5,000, $10,000 flips. This is going to be everyday shit because people just think about from an accessibility standpoint, not just getting into this, but justifying it to your family. If you are a dad, a brother, a husband, and you've got a wife who's watching your finances like a hawk, and she's over here like, why the fuck are you buying a JPEG with no business model or like on pure speculation for $10,000 exactly? Like, you can't really explain it well, especially when the market takes a dump like it has, and there's not necessarily any light at the end of the tunnel yet. You can't explain it. But if you got $50, $100, $500 to just go gamble with and play, and maybe you make a little bit, maybe you don't, maybe you just have some fun, but you can explain it way better. Be like, oh honey, it's just my weekly allowance to go have some fun gambling with the boys. It's like, all right, you're not jeopardizing our entire future here on a monkey, on a low resolution monkey JPEG. You're just buying a few cards for $20 or something. Like,
I mean, you might be onto something. Honestly, NBA Top Shot probably took out about the same, took off the same way. It's also an easy explanation. Sports collectibles,
that's it.
Sports collectibles are the first thing. Like if someone's asking me about NFTs, that's one of, if not one or two in my explanation hierarchy of hey, this is very simple utility. You see people in the real world that have sports cards that are signed. You just need to have it digitally that live outside an app. So I think you're hitting on a lot of good pieces here. We'll get to some comments. Do you see any? Yeah,
Brian saying it looks like Blitz. I had the same thought. Yeah, I don't think they got all of the effects and the animations quite there yet, but I could see it going that direction. Just being a very fun arcade game. Cost effective saying, what happens to the alpha that Aishiro Oda did the meme land art? Yeah, I don't know, man. Does anybody care at this point? What's the captain's floor now? You were just looking at him. What's the captain's floor?
I'll pull it up. Give me a second. All right. Captain's floor is 6.5.
So they dropped from around 9 to 10 ETH down to 6.5. It's still holding a solid floor. It's pretty actually impressive, honestly. After that, dude, I saw that, I would have been selling. I would have been like, dude, this is not what I was hoping it would be. So I'm not gonna lie. Like I've been very bullish on what they were doing, just based on what they've done and the Chinese market narrative and all that stuff. But I'm not gonna lie, like it's hard for me to decide which one's more disappointing between that and Elementals. I think Elementals is because it feels
it's hyped up way more.
It's not just that. If to me, like I think Captains wasn't doing anything shady. I think they took a gamble on a certain sort of direction. And to me, the Azuki one feels like they purposefully hyped up with a trailer without showing the art to FOMO people into a crazy high mint price.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, but
yeah, I want to make sure we get to Opepen before we close out the episode here. So NFTGO BAGCHECK. NFTGO is again the sponsor on this month's episodes of NFT Live. Thank you guys for sponsoring the Web3 Network. We appreciate y'all so much. And we use their app pretty much every day. I'm interested to get into this like premium feature GIF. I know they were like teasing it out last week.
We're going to get it.
Yeah. I'm interested
we're going to get it this week.
Okay. Well, we're going to get it, but right now we're going to get into the bag check. So let's touch on it just for a moment. Barometer is at 18, so pretty cold here. But blue chip index is up 7 days against ETH and USD. We're looking pretty here, at least for 7 days. 30 days, we're still kind of not out of the woods just yet. And then if you zoom out even further, it's not the prettiest sight. But at least we're getting some short-term on the blue chip index. At least we're getting some short-term support there. Market cap, not so clean. Against ETH and USD, you can see the market cap is increasing, but volume's kind of staying stagnant, and we fell off a little bit of a cliff there. I don't know what that July 17 piece, I don't know why we fell off that hard on the market cap side over the last 24 hours. It could be the ETH's movements and all this different stuff. All right, holders and traders. We're continuously adding holders, it looks like, in the ecosystem. Definitely kind of volatile there on the trader side, but I don't really like that chart either way. So volume, 7 days and 24 hours. We can hit it real quick. So over the last 24 hours, the captains, CryptoPunks. So captains taking up fully the last 24 hours. That's interesting. I guess it's just still from this reveal.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe they've announced something else, but I assume a lot of people are just selling / trading. Okay,
so punks, apes, Opepen, which we'll get to in just a moment, mutant apes, to gods, Azuki elementals, Azukis again, and ether. And then over the last 7 days, it looks relatively the same, but Bored Ape flops the captains for the top spot. Mutants are in there. Opepen's in there as well. But pretty much the same there in volume over the last 7 days. Those have been the primary collections. So that's going to do it for... actually, let me check out one more thing. The trending... Let's see what's on the trending charts really quick, if there's anything to take out of here. So not sure what 0x Tama is, but Ether is up there. Opepen doing extremely well. FF6000 still getting tossed around. It looks like Fatzuki, Nakamigos. Dude, Nakas are just always getting traded.
That's why I'm bullish. Yeah, they figured out the supply, like how to have a high supply at a good price floor. And, the art, say what you want. Again, I'm not the biggest pixel art fan, but it's cool. It's chill. They got some fun looking PFPs for pixel art. Yeah, I don't know. Nakas, I'm actually bullish on. I still am. And I'm, full transparency. I still got one. I flipped a few. Still got one.
I do need to pick up a Naka as well, but let me get my hands on some Onis first. All right, this is the 7-day change here. These are my favorite collections. I've favorited a good amount of collections that we talk about for the most part. But you can see Cool Cats, for whatever reason, just doing extremely well relative to the rest of the market. Pudgies, it looks like, are holding pretty strong. Bored Apes. Doodles had a run, but it looks like are kind of just staying stagnant as well. And then as we go down the chart, there's a couple different ones that have fallen off a little bit of a cliff. I'm expecting heavies to be extremely volatile as we get end of season 1 We'll see what season 2 looks like. But if they actually come out with another trailer, if they come out with some other updates to the game, I think this collection is just going to be extremely volatile while the game is live here. So should be interesting to watch.
I'm getting more. I think we've both been relatively bullish on Pudgy. Like, I don't think we've had any bad things to say about them. We've been covering all the things that they've been building out, but I'm definitely feeling like more and more bullish on Pudgy Penguins at this point.
Yeah.
4's under 4 ETH right now, which is definitely, I think it's the cheapest I've seen it in a while. So, you know, not financial advice, but if I had 5 ETH, 4 ETH, I'd probably feel good about getting a Pudgy Penguin. I've been playing the Lil Pudgies, you know, a lot. I made some good flips on the Lil Pudgies, but I never got in on the OG collection.
I don't think I'm picking up unless it's a Coda, which I think is around the same price. Like, let me see what Codas are. But unless it's like a Coda at 4 something ETH that I'm going to be like actively using, I'd rather take a bet on one of these like 1 ETH projects to do different multiples. Like the question at this point, and Oni's falling like off a cliff, so it's like I have to almost get that. But Moonbirds or Doodles as opposed to getting an Oni, I think is a fair question. Like long
Prodigy calling you out here saying Q's every day saying I need to get blank, then proceeding to never get shit. Sounds about right.
Listen, I spent like 50 G's buying up mutants and kennels and some different like pieces there in December. So I've got a good amount of USDC, like, but I'm not trying to like actively trade. So I want to pick up Onis, but it's likely going to be in like the, you know, it's definitely in the 6 figures category. So that's what I'm looking at.
Dead Polaroid asking, do we do ordinals? Do you do ordinals? What is our thoughts? So we actually just had Mark on last week. What day was that?
I'm gonna look at that.
Because yeah, what I would recommend is to check out our recent episode with Mark, because he's like a big brain BTC ordinals guy. So we got to ask him a bunch of questions, get his perspectives. I don't think either of us currently hold any ordinals. We've been following it. We've been covering it the whole time, but I have not dipped my proverbial toe into the ordinals waters. I haven't bought in. I think I feel like if I was going to summarize my thoughts on ordinals, my personal feeling is that I like it as a hierarchy within a larger value hierarchy. I like using BTC as like the high value museum quality special place to do a limited edition something to add more value and gravitas to your larger collection. I don't really like it right now as a place to be like scaling anything. To me, it's just for like very high value pieces right now. And I also think that a lot of the speculation around the like rare sats that they're doing is all fucking bullshit. I think that like, and I think Mark basically said the same thing. He was like, dude, you can't even actually track most of this stuff. And they're saying that you can. And they're selling different sats like they're important because they were in some block in somebody's wallet at some point. But you can't even necessarily verify a lot of that shit. And who really cares anyway at the end of the day? Like, I think that that's such a niche market. And again, I think a lot of it is just bullshit marketing. So while I do think that BTC, NFTs, and ordinals have a really unique and interesting place and should be a thing, I haven't gotten into it, and I think that a lot of people are being bamboozled into this idea that like, oh, a certain sat or this certain collection because it like. I just think there's a lot of bullshit happening right now.
All right, first of all, I'm going to get to some of y'all's comments here in just a moment because you guys are setting me up to respond here, and now are getting mad that I'm again now responding. So I will
Weird
get to some of your
flex.
comments here in just a moment. But I agree with you on the Bitcoin ordinals piece. I would say 95, even more % of it right now is just like speculation on, hey, we're early in this stuff. So if you collect like a Bitcoin frogs, for example, early, it's going to be seen as like, really, really awesome. But I will say, like, the layer 2 stuff interests me more than like another collection for like another ordinals collection. I think the stuff on layer 2 is like you should be paying attention to. But yeah, go give a look at that episode. I just linked it in chat. All right, now these comments. I sit back for the better part of 6 months. Don't buy anything. Don't flex anything. 6 months. And I say one thing that, hey, actually, I just like to buy in bulk purchases because whether it's the accounting and I don't want to keep up with all these different transactions or it's just the way I like to purchase, now I'm getting flamed. I see how it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. These guys have been buying NFTs back and forth for like months and months and months. I'm sitting over here doing nothing, and I'm the flex guy.
It's hard to be Q. It's smash the like for this guy. He's having a rough go of it today.
Not as bad as Chair Gensla.
You get it coming and going sometimes. All right, what's going on? He's disappointed. Okay. Poor guy. He's disappointed. Oh.
Okay. DP, we didn't ask how much you spent. You put it out there. Well, that's because thousands of dollars have been spent on this show by all of my co-hosts. And you guys are like, whoa, Q, what are you doing? Why aren't you buying a Moonbird that's worth 3 Gs, 4 Gs? Why aren't you getting Oni Forces that are worth 2 Gs a pop? So
keep going. He's getting heated, and I find it hilarious. So please keep it up.
The fact that I bought all my NFTs at once is what I'm trying to point out here. So, anyways, who like are there NFTs that are worth not thousands of dollars? I would love to see them. Like what NFTs have we looked at and talked about in the last, I don't know, 2 weeks that are under $100?
Under 100, I don't know. Dead fellas are fucking cheap though. I talk about dead fellas all the time.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I think most of the ones that we do talk about are pretty expensive. Getting flamed.
Yo, I'm not taking this.
Yo, shout out DP over here.
Holding it down.
Spreading truth.
Spreading all the truth. Here we go.
Facts.
All right. Quasar saying mutants are still way overvalued today. I'd be interested to hear your take on just apes in general, like OG apes. If you think mutants are overvalued, you probably think OG apes are overvalued. All right, we have to get to this Opepen thread edition.
Oh yeah, the thing that we've been talking about but not talking about this whole show.
Literally at 5 minutes, I was like, "Hey, we're gonna get to that shortly." That's what timestamps are for, people.
I don't think it's that interesting.
It was everything though. Like people was tweeting about it. Everybody was.
I bought some. Don't get me wrong. I live minted these shits on Web3 this morning because I'm a fan of Jack Butcher.
This is Mr. Live Mint himself.
Mr. Live Mint.
Mr. Live Mint. AKA Live Mint.
Live Mint.
I can see you saying that at the start of like a show.
I'll start dripping.
AKA Mr. Live Mint.
I'll start dripping it in there for you. Okay. Inside jokes just for you, Q.
If you have a summary of this situation, I would love to do that because right now it's just parsing through. This is essentially what my timeline looked like, right?
Yeah, I retweeted it. I retweeted it from I think Web3, so I'll send it to you. But yeah, there is a summary.
It's basically just so there's a couple different stories going on here. One, apparently, and I liked Marty's point earlier, that was like, this is kind of just a weird cringe moment. Like we're sending money to Threadguy. Why? Like it makes no sense in that. But it's really like the virality of this Opepen becoming everybody's PFP for a little while, or like at least they were posting it like this. You could see Stake, for example, here. He's got a sappy seal, but he turned the coloration or whatever term you want to use of this Opepen to reflect his actual PFP. And this was going on, like hundreds of people were doing this. I could not escape Threadguy posts. So Gifted just sent me the summary of what's actually happening here. Again, the backdrop for this as well is GIF has been on Jack Butcher. Again, when I was patiently waiting, biding my time to this moment where Oni Force is in my buy range so that I could put all my chips on the table and tell you guys about it and get flamed for it, GIF was buying Jack Butchers and making some good profits here. So I have no exposure to Jack Butcher or any Opepens or any of the generative art stuff, or I'm sorry, open edition stuff. So you tell me what the tie in here, but we have basically the running timeline here. What's happening?
This is the timeline. I don't know, man. I was out touching grass. The gist of it is that he changed his PFP to this thing. It's like a collaboration, but it's not a collaboration. He did it on Zora. I did do a live mint, so I went through the whole Zora thing. It's about $2 to mint them. There's been over 30,000 of them minted so far. I don't fully understand why this took off. I'm sure it's in this thread if we want to read through it diligently. But I guess part of it is that Threadguy just hasn't changed his PFP in forever, and everybody was like making a big deal out of the fact that he turned down a bunch of offers to change his PFP, and then he finally did it for Jack Butcher for this collab. Yeah, why is this such big news? I guess it's just because you've got a big influencer with one of the biggest digital artists of the year, in the world, kind of doing it together at a moment when there's no other good news in the space.
All proceeds will go to Threadguy. So he basically crowdfunded a PFP switch. Is this what's happening?
I guess.
Because he was getting offers to change his PFP, and instead Jack Butcher launched this Opepen and is saying all proceeds go to Threadguy.
Yeah.
26,000. Are these being traded? I'm assuming
there's over 30,000. I don't know if they're being traded yet, but no, because it's still minting. I don't think people would be. Yeah.
I'll try to find it.
DP saying, I'm mad they wrote a whole thread about a bro changing his PFP. Good lord. That's kind of how I feel about it. That's why it's like, I don't fully understand why this is such a big deal. And it's kind of annoying. It feels like just bear market news to me. But I minted some. I went and did it. But look, I'm a big Jack Butcher fan. Yeah. I don't necessarily care that much about Threadguy changing his PFP. But I'm fascinated by what Jack Butcher's been able to achieve and continues to do.
Okay, before I show this off, is this the collection? Because it says there's 16,000.
No, so that's the original Opepen edition.
Got it.
That this is now this is like a derivative of his Opepen.
Okay.
That is being created. And so no, I don't think there's any secondary. I can send you the collection though. Here, I'll send it to you because I minted some. I got them. I can show you where they are.
Feature request NFTGO. I'm looking for a floor price chart. I mean, I'm sure it's on the overview, I guess, like price and sales.
I just dropped it. Down there for you if you want to pull it up. But it's called Opepen Threadition. And it's on Zora, but you can also find it on OpenSea. And
so 0.5. So these are getting a bid. This is like 30% up. It looks like
there's almost 32,000 of them minted so far, which is just insane.
So no volume, not being traded?
Not really. There's 0.07.
Okay.
No, because they're still minting.
Got it.
Yeah.
We're in agreement. Everyone that's on the comment chat right now is like, well, what the hell? Why is this a story? I agree. This is dumb, super dumb, and actually bad for Mutant Apes because they lose one of their most prominent, at least person that had it as a PFP. But
Arifim saying folks see it as quote unquote for the culture. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so this moment is crucial in NFT. So I don't know about. I don't like that. We're hyper analyzing this. $2 PFPs with unlimited supply that mark a moment of artistic creativity. All right, I don't know if I'm even reading to the end of this. Everybody involved got tons of engagement and learned a lot. Jack single-handedly normalizing minting at a very affordable. That's not innovative.
We've already been through. I think it's interesting that he can still pull off this open edition meta at this scale, and that it actually seems like it's growing. Like over like 32,000 minted of them is crazy.
So they're always going to be open at $2. It's just going to be open like in perpetuity at $2.
It's always open. Well, fuck. All right.
Mr. Live Sell, gift at himself. Yeah. It's similar to how sportsmen get paid for the rest of their life if their sneakers or other merchandise are sold. It says open forever to mint.
Okay.
Hey, this is a great example of how NFT projects must value and respect content creators. Give me a fucking break, dude. All right, that's out. That's out. Yeah, because an open edition is look, there are competing features here, but a forever perpetuity mint does not favor holders by any sense of the imagination.
Yeah. Squashman also saying that Threadguy is coming off of the ApeCoin DAO election, which I guess he lost. A lot of people had his back on that, which gave him more attention and exposure recently.
Great point.
Which made this into a bigger story. Yeah. So that's definitely part of it. And it's interesting in that regard and how you can like snowball attention, from these things. So yeah, sounds kind of like a donation. You're right, Easy. Turns out Threadguy sold his mutant because he is down bad. Yeah, well, he's not the only one.
Yeah, fascinating to look at like the virality of some of these stories in the space too. So I don't know if we have any other links or any other things we can point to with this Threadguy situation, but I could not escape it. I truly, and I know Asmod, I said earlier that he didn't even see a post about it. Dude, I don't know if it was because maybe it was just Threadguy was just retweeting everything and maybe he was just like spamming that shit, but I could not escape it on my timeline, which is the first time I've had that happen.
To me, it feels like we're so desperate for like any sort of reasonably positive news that like something like this becomes like such a big deal for the culture. Like, yeah. And again, like I'm not trying to undersell. Like I do think it's cool to see big collaborations and Jack Butcher continuing to innovate and do things like this. It's just surprising that something like this became as big of it as it did. But again, I think people are hungry. They're thirsty for like any sort of positive collaboration, any sort of positive momentum on anything that isn't like people just shitting on everything and being negative and fudding. NFT space, to your point, needs some W's, bro.
Yeah, like, but the holders aren't getting a W here, right? If it's a live mint, I'm just wondering, like, where's the W? Yeah, we'll see. Let's see. Squash saying Board Elon was digging deep into ApeCoin DAO and think he fell off, and Board Elon was the only one who initiated the Opepen mutant switch. That was another point. Oh, so okay. So there's the part of it of like Threadguy leaving and apparently Board Elon leaving as well. Took over the timeline like Ben ETH. I think that's a really great. You guys are coming through with some fire right now because that was what it felt like. Like the Ben.E stuff was just flooding the timeline. So yeah, we don't have to spend much more time on it. Again, I don't think any holders are gonna, get much price appreciation here if there's a fucking live mint forever.
Well, hey, at the very least, I got to try out Zora for the first time. Now I know how that minting process goes. And if you haven't done it before, you do have to bridge some ETH over there and then switch the network. But it's not too hard. Pretty straightforward. Only takes a few extra minutes and steps. We didn't really talk about the MetaMask update, huh? I guess there's a reskin on MetaMask.
Yeah, that was okay. I'll give him that. All right, this is the last piece I've got. I was just gonna drop the again Starlordy interview that I did last week. When it comes to Oniforce, of course, he's gonna be the most tied in. They're at Comic-Con this week, so we'll expect some announcements, and you guys stay tuned. See if I swept the floor on some Onis. That'll be an interesting one. That's all I got, Gif. You got any other links you want me to put out, or any other pieces?
Let's check real quick. Let me go see. Nothing's just like springing to mind.
So heavies, dude, I've been fucking getting after it on heavy metal, guys. I own,
Yeah.
or we own actually 6, right? I think 6, 7. I own a certain amount as well. I've been getting the fuck after it. Like every day, I have to wake up. I have to exchange votes with other people. You have to coordinate. Sometimes they're late, so you're like pinging them, like, "Hey, you getting the votes in?" I'm on multiple different, Discord channels that I'm like trading votes in. Tried to automate it. It's taking me about 45 minutes daily, depending on like a couple different RNG factors. Like, did my heavy make a lot of energy overnight? Sometimes they don't because they're lazy pieces of shit, and sometimes they do. Anyways, long story short, I was in contention for the, I believe it's legendary amp. So again, the amps are the reasons that people are playing Forge right now, other than like, hey, I just want to be in there using my heavies, making my place look dope. I was in the running for the legendary amp. I just fell out of the running. I won't get it back. So I'm in the running for the epic amp, and I will get that if I continue to play. The season ends in 3 days. So in 3 days, we'll see if they launch any updates. That's what the community's kind of hoping for. Some type of another trailer release would be great, but that's what we're kind of waiting for. Is in 3 days we'll see that. Again, the rewards get paid out in 3 days, so you'll have a secondary marketplace for these amps. Wonder what that looks like. So some speculation around like, hey, what does a legendary amp go for? Which was what I was holding out for. I was like, I'm getting up hungover as shit after my buddy's wedding to play fucking heavy metal Forge. I would like the legendary amp to be worth X amount. Like I'm spending a crazy amount. One thing that's not talked about too, Gip, is like I'm doing work with the heavies we bought. That stays with them. So I think,
Yeah.
and they get votes daily for playing. But I don't really vote for each one, but I think the Forge sees the activity and is like, we'll give you points. So each one is going to get a certain amp as well. What happens there? You know what I mean? So
Yeah, we'll see. I need to get back on it. I was like pretty heavy on it the first week or so, and then I fell off because I got busy and I've been slacking. So I need to get back in the mix. I did send you the sound.xyz if you want to pull that up real quick. This is an interesting headline. Recently, they opened up Sound XYZ to be open to any music artists, and that's really cool, right? Because it's been purely curated. And if you scroll down, so this is like the chart, viral sounds of the week. If you scroll down a little bit, shout out to my boy Heroin, top 5, number 5, OX Dead. It's the name of his song, and it's a free mint. So you can go mint this for free from our friend, co-host of the show IRL Alpha, just a cool dude. He was also the special guest on the first episode of Fuck You Money. But yeah, he launched his own track on here, and it's top 5 on the charts right now on sound.xyz. So that's a free mint if you want to check out Heroin's new song over there and go support him. Maybe we can get him up to top 3. Who knows? But yeah, Sound XYZ open now. It's all music artists, and it's just cool to see a homie getting some traction over there.
now, is this on ETH?
I think so. It's a good question though. I haven't minted. I'm gonna go mint mine right now. So you know what, Mr. Live Mint gonna go do what he does, and now I'm talking about myself in third person.
As Mr. Live Mint would, to be honest.
Yeah, Mr. Live Mint would talk about himself in third person. You're absolutely right.
All right, a couple comments on the heavy metal. So first of all, the sound.xyz we just dropped in there, so definitely support Heroin, and I will do so as well. I'll log in. I'll just read off a couple comments and then show you guys what the leaderboard looks like up to this point. Squash is saying the heavy metal grind is real, especially after starting 1 week late. Yeah, that's tough, dude. This is absolutely, like, I thought I would be in a good spot from the first second I was playing this game, and I was like slowly falling off this leaderboard every time. So you can see the top place for seasonal. You can see I just fell out of that range. So it was 1 through 130th. I know it's tough to see. But now I'm 139th overall. So I'm going to be in running for this. This was the legendary amp that I was trying to get my hands on before this timer runs down to 0. But you can see the amount seasonal leaderboard up here. I mean, the dailies are just getting out of this world too. Like 182, I think would have won you the initial first. And this is now 2 hours in. So it's getting wild. We expected that, of course. But yeah. I mean, this is where we're at. Again, I'm fighting for that seasonal, and I will get that seasonal epic. But it's been an absolute grind. Hopefully they make some changes. I think everyone is literally asking for it. Like, everyone feels the same way in the community.
DP just saying, just can't scoop that poop fast enough. I feel that, man. My heavies are probably over there super depressed, just covered in shit because I've been neglecting them. So I apologize to my heavies. I apologize. I'm gonna have to go say hi and give them some head pats and yeah, make them feel good. But yeah, I just live minted Heroine's track OX Dead processing right now. So excited. That's my first sound.xyz NFT as well. And yes, it is on Ethereum. I had to pay
like a soundboard.
It's a free mint. You just pay gas with ETH. It's like 0.0007 ETH. It's costing me basically $5 to mint.
I need a soundboard for Mr. Liveman over here. Whenever Mr. Liveman gets active, I need to like spam a keyboard or something.
These nuts. Got him. All right. That was bad, but you get it.
I don't know if it's providing much context, but folks, NFT Live, again, first of the week, sitting here on a Monday, getting after it with everybody. Y'all were awesome the whole way through, other than that one time that you guys completely flamed me for now eventually wanting to buy NFTs. I get flamed for not buying. Now I'm trying to buy. So either way, leave a like Gift Ed's saying. We appreciate y'all all the way through. We will be here tomorrow. Gift, do you have any plans like coming up? Any trips? Because I'm like completely done with my trips. I got one more, I believe, but it's a little bit down the road.
Hong Kong, anybody?
That's true. We'll see y'all in Hong Kong.
Our vibe, our tribe.
All right, folks. See y'all tomorrow. We'll be there. GM Web3 Morning Show. Follow Web3 on Twitter. And we will be, of course, having NFT Live right afterwards. Appreciate it. OVOT.